Hello, now I'm going to show you after the tests are completed and you're getting ready to actually have a conference, what you need to do to prep your tab center and input your scores to finalize how everything went for the conference. So once all the tests are completed, and you need to be careful with this, if there's a student that went later than the majority of them, you do have to send their score over. You can come into conference, go to import, and then import the test scores from AnswerRite. You need to do this first before they're going to actually show up on the CMS side so that you can set this up for your tab center. Okay, in the end, when you're done, depending upon what you do for your conference, after all of this grading is done, while I'm in here, I may as well show you, you can export all of the results to a PowerPoint if you wanted to put that out for your awards assembly, mini awards, qualifiers, results by category, and so forth, depending upon what you share with your district. Okay, so now I'm going to come into conference and go to CMS. She has already completed her conference, so there's going to be data in here for me to use, and I promise I won't mess it up. So all of your event types are here. Whatever has been sent in from the AnswerRite will appear in area test. Okay, so if I come in, first thing I want to show you is an individual event. Okay, the test scores are there. Once a role play is input, then you're going to go ahead and input that data in there. For a team event, it looks a little bit different because it combines their scores. So you can see here that this is the team ID from Wilmington High School. Those are the names of the teams, and then it does the average of the two scores. Okay. If you wanted to look at their individual test scores, you are able to do that, and it will come in and show you exactly what the students got on their scores. Okay, so that's that story. Now, when you're coming back out, this is so vital. So once you've input all of the scores, you need to make sure that you check this box off so CMS knows that the event is completely done. Okay, now all of these different fields you're allowed to sort by. So typically when we get our reports in, we like to get them in by identification number in order. Okay, so you can click here and sort either ascending or descending based on what you want to do, and it will sort them for you very easily. Once you come in, you can come into here and modify the test scores. I'm not going to be able to do that because it's already been completed, but you're just going to go ahead and click in here and you can input your data very easily. Okay. If a student or a team doesn't show up or they get disqualified, simplest thing to do is just check off right here for a no-show or check out right here for a DQ. Either way, they're going to get disqualified, and then it will automatically calculate where they end up placing in the end after all the scores are input. Okay, so it's really, really easy. Again, alternate we don't do, so we don't need to worry about that. And she's already finalized the places, so you can see that that information is in there. When you're first inputting data, that's not going to show up until you execute it and ask the software to do that for you. Now this field right here is pretty cool. If you had a note, student is sick, had to leave early, whatever you want to put in there so that you have it, you can go ahead and include that information, and that'll show up on your reports moving forward too. Pretty cool. Now it's not going to allow you to finalize a category until you've input scores for all of them. So you have to pay attention to that. Wanted to go over a couple of other things with this. So I'm going to go back to an individual series event right quick. It's going to put them in order by whatever you specified originally. So it looks like these are in order by ID. So we have 10, 10, 2, 10, 8, 1, 2. I can sort by ID, ascending or descending. I can also sort by school as well. If the checkbox, or excuse me, the triangle is available, it's doing a sort by that specific category name. Okay. You want to get rid of it, it's toggle off and on. It's either up, down, or off. So you just have to be mindful of that. If you're a quick clicker like I am, sometimes you sort things you don't even realize it. So look for those triangles to make sure if things are wrong. Okay. You can also sort by the place, descending or ascending. It'll do the math for you based on how you set up the event. So if that looks wrong, you need to make sure that you set up that properly in the event, meaning under here, when you're in an event setup, and you come in and you specify how things are mapped out. It's a test, a role play, a written, a judge, a penalty point, whatever the case may be. Make sure that that's accurate, because that's what the CMS is actually reading. It's garbage in, garbage out, guys. If this is set up incorrectly, CMS is going to be wrong as well. Additionally, you don't have to go into the setup. If you wanted to just check here, it tells you straight out there's one test, it's worth a third of the score, and then the role play is worth 2 of the score. And that's how it's getting to 300 for the final total. Okay, so now if the checkbox is unchecked here, like it is, it'll let you modify any of these scores. Okay, so I could come in and modify any of the scores. So that's why it's so vital to make sure that you check this off when you're done so that you don't inadvertently screw things up. Okay, now once it's unchecked, you can click pretend you're done, you did all the data and so forth, you're ready to go. You can go ahead and calculate their places. All right, so you can do from each section, if you go sections, you can do a section specification, the top amount of places that you have. In my district, we have more than 4 top places, but you have to specify what you do for your district. You can do an alternate selection method. We don't do that, so you can click OK on that, or do not select alternates on that and click OK. And essentially what it will do is calculate the places. Now I'm not going to do that because this is already done and I don't want to mess with our data, but that's how that works. So once the scoring is complete and you're getting ready to do reports, you can go ahead and click on reports, and you can do a bunch of different reports based on this, okay? So you can do a script, you can do the announcer report, you can do whichever you want. So you could do a bunch of these. I want you to mess around with them and use them at your discretion based on what you do in your district. I like the announcer report because the way we typically do it is we call the top 10 up and then we specify which ones actually made it to states. You can include their semifinalist, whatever you want to do, and then view the report. And essentially, it's going to give you this document. Again, it's a PDF that you can print out and hand to whoever your MC is. The first sheet has them in random order. And then the second sheet has them in the order that they placed. So when we're in the Tab Center, the other thing that we do is we double check all the math and we double check all the data entry. So I want to show you a report that will help facilitate that. You can go into scoring report and you can clear and set it up however you want this to go. I'm going to do ID, name, and a role play. And go ahead and sort them by ID, because that's typically the way that we get all the paperwork in from the people who ran the events, and then I'll view the report. So for the event that I currently had open, which was ACT, I've got a sheet that has the IDs, their name, because that's what I asked it to include, and then what they got on their role play, so that I could take all 3 of these and verify the data entry. Pretty slick. It's just another way to double check and make sure that this is accurate. And then finally, you need to make sure that you do click calculate places before you generate any of the reports, because if something got messed up or you change the data entry, that needs to be done before the report will be completely accurate. And you also need to make sure that you have scoring complete actually checked off. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys is once all the data entry is done and you want to just make sure that everything's good to go in the system, you're going to go to Conference and calculate all. And you can calculate all your places or any mini awards if that's what you guys do. Excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and click Calculate All Places. And then I'm going to calculate all places here. Now I'm not going to check this off right now, because if I forgot to do a scoring complete on any of them, it's going to appear on the list and show me that I didn't check that box off in the data entry part of the software. So now I can come in and see all of them, and it tells you straight out DECA's Got Talent, there were no places calculated. So it's a really good report that essentially tells you if there are ties that need to be calculated, if the scoring status is incomplete or whatever. And the other really slick thing is if I notice that something's wrong, I can come into view and I'm directly into that specific category, and I can go ahead and finalize and fix things so that things are actually set up properly. So that's an introduction to how the CMS part of the software works. If you have any questions, as always, please let us know. Thank you so much.